went to the Western District, I saw the plaque, Jimmy Halpin's plaque there. And the reason why that's so important is Jimmy Halpin was killed he was killed by a sniper in a very famous shootout in the city's history at the intersection of Cary and Lombard Street. Some of the men and women behind you remember that case and were here when that occurred. But how it touched me and how incidents like some of the things I told you about will affect your lives. I remember in my first few days in the Western, I met an old curmudgeon of a wagon man, and just seemed angry all the time. And on first reaction, I thought, here's a guy's career's over. They pushed him out in a wagon because doesn't have much left. The fact of the matter is that wagon man, when Jimmy Halpin was killed in that Cary and Lombard Street shootout, this was before we had a modern SWAT team. In 1976, there was no SWAT team. No machine guns, no truck to drive up in, no rappelling from helicopters. There was none of that. So when the man was armed with a rifle, that wagon man took it upon himself to go to a sporting goods store nearby and get a rifle to save the lives of all of those other men that were out there on that scene. He scaled a fire department hose tower. If we had someone from the fire department here, they will tell you they don't even have hose towers anymore, where they used to hang the hoses to dry and then put back on the trucks. And this policeman, this old curmudgeon, who I imagine never really did much, scaled that hose tower on a rickety ladder with a rifle he borrowed from a sporting goods store to save the lives of the members of his team. And so you will tread along in their footsteps of people who have charted the course. And now there's some responsibility and obligation on your part to uphold your end. Your end is to tread that path and go through that journey with the same degree of professionalism and honor that people have displayed ahead of you. You know, we've talked about, and you've heard talk about strategy and the plan and things like commitment and honor. They're meaningless words unless you attach action to that. Targeted enforcement means nothing unless you go out and dedicate yourself to that. What does that mean, targeted enforcement? That means going out and applying the law in the areas and on the people that we need to be dealing with. We don't work in a police state. The fact of the matter is, despite the criticisms and the arrows that will be slung at you, the vast majority of the people of this city love their police department. And they will do everything they can to help you. And we have to open ourselves up to that offer and make ourselves available. This community engagement, most of you know what that means already. Why? Because you've been walking foot in Brooklyn. You've been walking foot in Monument. You've walked in the Inner Harbor and talked to people from all over this country and interacted with people. Not just, we can talk about making communities safer and talking to folks, but you are living that. You are doing that. These are not hollow words. Building strong partnerships. You will read a lot, study the history of this agency, but it is important. I'm counting on you and you and you to help reinforce these partnerships. What does that mean? That means working tirelessly and dedicated to the business community, to the state's attorney's office, through our other law enforcement partners. So when they say, I need something, I called on Officer Adams or Jones or Bealefeld, they delivered. They stood up and they reacted and they delivered what they were supposed to. And finally, I want to conclude and talk about family. Because today, these men and women have accomplished a lot. But the reality is, none of us here on the stage, none of these men and women could do a single thing in their lives without family. pays as much sacrifice and has to be as dedicated and as honorable as any of these men or women. And your sacrifice doesn't come lightly. It's something that we have, all of us have experienced in our own personal lives. I hate to bring myself as a point of focus, but last night, we were out very late in the community, and I have a son and daughter, and we ate our dinner at 10 o'clock last night, and all of you will be doing the same thing. You will miss birthdays, you will miss anniversaries, and it's not their sacrifice, but it's the sacrifice and it's the commitment of all of you that will enable them to do that. You've inspired them up to this point. It is a heavy burden for every man and woman here. So we need you to continue your support and help foster their professionalism and their commitment to this agency and to the citizens of Baltimore. And so from me, as the representative for the police department, in all sincerity, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you.
Mayor, Acting Commissioner Bealefeld, command staff, and honored guests. I'd also like to thank all the friends and family who have been there for all of us during the long and tiring days throughout our training process. We started out as a group of individuals who did not know each other. Yet, over the weeks in the academy, we grew into a family. A family that is part of a larger family, a family of law enforcement. The first few weeks were a long struggle, but with the help of our advisors, Sergeant Osby, Deputy Holmes, and Officer Adams, we were able to pull together as a team. The pre-roll call, words of wisdom, and stories from Lieutenant Howe, Sergeant Jackson, Officer Correll, and Officer Kern also helped bring us together and mold us into officers. Though we had our share of problems, the class and staff will remember we pulled through and supported each other. This was an important lesson that we learned for the streets, which we would not realize until field training. That lesson was that no matter what your differences are with other officers, you must back each other up to help ensure a safe return home at the end of the day for all who wear a badge. We all took this job knowing the risk and danger involved and accepted both. We know it is not just a job and a career, but it is also a lifestyle that has you on the job 24/7. I leave you all with this. Law enforcement is a calling, and not for everyone. Yet we all answer the call, and we are all part of the few who are up for the challenge. Thank you.
And drive it has taken to bring us to this happy day, this day of new beginnings. Today is a culmination of much effort and for many reasons, not the least of which has been the presence of veteran guiding hands. I refer, of course, to the class advisors. The class advisors from Class 2006-04, Sergeant Charles Osby, Officer Charles Robinson, Officer Wayne Adams, and Deputy Sergeant Holmes. There exist many others behind the scenes, and without their efforts, it is safe to say that this day would not have become a reality for our graduates. I congratulate and thank them on the results of their labors. In addition to their many accomplishments, members of this class were able to take advantage of our college credit program. This program allowed members of this class to attend after-hours classes at the Academy to earn 45 college credits from Baltimore City Community College. The officers graduating today have just completed one of the most intensive training programs in the country. Class 2006-04 has completed a portion of field training where they were teamed with field training officers who continued the training process. This is where they were introduced to the communities they will be serving during their career. This brings us to that portion of our program, long sought and well earned by all the graduates. I call to the podium Lieutenant Mark Howe to read the names of the graduates. Commissioner Bealefeld, it is my honor to present to you Class 2006-04.